We've talked about service management apps. This one is about the development and rollout of an app for FM teams. From commercial cleaning specialist SBFM, we have CEO Matt Chapman and another one of our industry's bright young talents, digital technology project manager Charlotte Coles-Morris. Thank you.
So, as you've already introduced me, I'm Charlotte and I'm the product manager at SBFM.
And I'm Matt Chapman. Hi to everyone. I know there's some familiar faces here and some new that I've met today, but I'm CEO of SBFM. I guess moving away from the LinkedIn jargon, we're not a data-driven, tech-enhanced, but what we are is a tech-inspired soft FM company. So what I thought I would do, because this is kind of the late shift, is try and get a bit of an energizer going again. And this time we're going to play for money. But there is a catch, because everybody in here is absolutely privileged to be here, as are the people who are probably at home watching on tech, or the people who are watching from the office. So the catch is, whoever wins, the money goes to someone who's less fortunate than us. It can be a charity, or it can be someone you meet on your way home. So anyone up for playing? Yeah. Right, cool. Standing or hands? What do you prefer? Is everyone tired of standing? Hands, right, hands up. 4 images are going to go up, and some of these images influence and inspire our business, and hopefully have inspired yourselves, but we'll see. Last hand standing, tiebreaker, person who shouts out the closest answer wins the £20, and you can put it where you like, to someone less fortunate, or those who need. Ready? Okay, so one of the key influences for us is one thing that actually influences my 8-year-old, and can anyone tell me, with your hands up, what this is? Okay, right, so keep your hands up. These are the people who are saying they can. This is Ready Player One. This is written, Ernest Cline, 2011, and you could say, and we had the metaverse chat earlier, this is part of the blueprint. This was the vision of the future of virtual reality and how we may use and interpret information and data to represent ourselves in an augmented reality. Hands still up, those people. Anybody still recognise this? Okay, one hand might be a winner. This is Asimo. It's Honda's first venture in robotics. Year 2000, Charlotte was 3 years old. 3 years old, year 2000, and still getting redeveloped now. Now, Asimo was brought in to mimic, support, and potentially replace human activity. This has been mentioned already. I think, Simi, you mentioned this briefly at the end. You've got this one? Minority Report. Yep, how we can take information and data and interact like you do now on your Apple screens. But this one, I wasn't even born. This is 1956, Philip K. Dick, my late father-in-law's favourite author. And then in 2002 became a film with our guy, Tom Cruise, touching the screens and doing his thing. And lastly, one of my favourite series. Oh, someone's pumping someone's raising a roof. Black Mirror. Do you know what episode? Nosedive, right. Because you're the only person who would ever know that, you're going to win the money. Brilliant. Right. So let's keep going with it. So Nosedive, Black Mirror, and David Sharp and myself have talked about these things, about the twists on robotics and automation. And you're probably thinking, how is a cleaning company talking about these things? Well, actually, Nosedive is all about social impact, social scoring, and actually, even though this aired in 2016, this has been in place in China, as some of you will know, with the social credit scoring and how we rate. And you're seeing it now in Uberization, Amazon, and all the ratings you see, and we'll come back to this a bit later and show you how it's influenced our business. I don't profess to be a coder. I'm not a CSO, CTO. I'm just me, but I do get people. So we travel through our little matrix in our cleaning industry, and where do we get to? At best, we get to this. It doesn't look like Asimo the robot. This is about as much automation as we're seeing from physical cleaning at the moment. You go furthermore, and where do we still get back to as an output? We get to this, buckets. But actually, who's holding those tools to provide the services on the front line, which is often unseen, and it comes back to people. And I know Simone said it's all about the person and all about the people, and I have to agree. And a lot of what we're doing here is to enhance people's lives, especially those colleagues who a lot of us who live our privileged lives don't see what they're doing. So why are we here as an industry, especially soft services? So remember, predominantly we're cleaning. The reality is, 2016, 27% of us had, as the most important challenge, technology. But as an ironic twist, in the same year, the majority of us were still measuring and reporting, collecting, using CRM systems, and we'll talk about service delivery. But what we didn't do is join the dots from actually collecting our information to the tech to enhance these lives.
So in order to start actually having a solution out there, we had to start thinking, acting, and delivering like some of the big players in the industry, and remembering we're just a cleaning company. And along that journey, there was a number of different challenges that we had to address. The first one being a lack of control. For so long, we were at the mercy of third-party solutions, providing us different software to answer different questions for different people. But it meant that we were at their mercy for customizations, development, integrations. So how do we bring that control back to us? We also then have user expectations. Just because in the industry we've accepted that we've been quite far behind, doesn't mean that our users haven't been using technology in their personal lives. They're used to ordering an Uber and tracking it until it arrives at their destination, or ordering a parcel on Amazon and it being there the very next day. They're used to user-intuitive, seamless experiences. And then to touch on data silos, because we spoke about data all day, so I might as well. When data's in different systems being used for different things, often means that it's fragmented, it's incomplete, and how are we expected to make meaningful actions, meaningful insights, when that data just isn't there? And then probably one of the most important challenges in our industry is the needs and wants of our users. How do we address the different people that are using our technology and make them feel part of it, make them want to use it, make them realise the benefits that it's going to bring? And that challenge is even more so in our industry because there's so many different types of people. Let's look at our clients, for example. Even within that category, we've got facilities management, procurement directors, financial teams. And then internally, we've got our operations, our head office functions, and our frontline cleaners. But for today, we're going to introduce you to three of them and take you on their journey and how we've had an impact on them. So first up is Kate. Kate's the head of facilities at a large retail business. And during the tender process, she was given a multitude of different promises, whether that be on data transparency or social value. But ultimately, all she really cares about is the service that she was promised is being delivered. Next up, we have Hayden. Hayden's our operations manager, and ultimately he's responsible for delivering that service to Kate. And he's the eyes and ears for so many different people. And often he's the only connection our frontline colleagues have with both our business and with our clients. And last but not least, we've got Patricia. Patricia's our frontline colleague, and she's on the ground every single day delivering that service. How do we make her feel part of our community? Our number one business goal is to enhance our internal and external communities. How are we giving her a voice? How are we allowing her to feel heard? So we know what we want to do and we know who we're trying to do it for, but now it's time that we have to put some words into actions. And I'm sure many of you in this room and the businesses that you work for are much like us. You have different systems across different areas of your business trying to answer different problems that you're having, whether that be CAFM systems, time and attendance, financial tech, auditing, or smart building sensors. But ultimately, what we're trying to do differently and what we have done differently is the creation of one core application. And this is through seamless integrations, and it's to serve our frontline colleagues, our support functions, and our clients.
Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about how we do it today, and I think some people talked about actually there's a whole education process We have to break down the barriers. I trust you in our industry or in our business. If I start talking BIM and digital twin, yep, maybe 50% of the office may get it, but the 85, 90% of our frontline colleagues, i.e. cleaners from diverse backgrounds, different skill sets, they won't understand it, nor will they utilise this tech. And this was one of the key things that we had to break down the barriers of. So how did we do it? The reason I put those pictures up before is because I use the keyword influenced and inspired. Basically, user-centric design. Our R&D didn't need to be that we have these people in our business coming up with something flashy and new that we can post on LinkedIn or compare to other people in our industry. In reality, there's people doing it better in other sectors and industries that have been talking about this back in the early 2000s, writing about it in 1956. So, user-centric design, it was quite easy. What do people use? Things like LinkedIn, things like Amazon interfaces, their online banking. We wanted to make sure that we didn't have to reinvent the wheel and it was intuitive and interactive as people would expect. The second consideration is about communication and awareness. To create one single source of truth, we needed really good data. We needed people to know that actually this is a new way of working. And actually only these systems and these filters for the personas, whether it be clients or our management or our frontline colleagues, there's no other way. And that was about training. And training isn't just about our team. We have to train and reinvest in our clients and all users. Now, Charlotte's mentioned our number one business goal, and that is absolutely internal, external communities. So having this as a portal meant that we can communicate with everybody, and everybody is effectively, literally on the same platform, on the same page. And to our delegate over here, who mentioned about trust and privacy, I didn't just add this in. One of the things, again, what's the point of us trying to train ourselves internally, bringing somebody in when actually we just engaged with American Express? American Express already had data insights and cybersecurity provisions, which helped consult on the portal that we provided. And then lastly, as we've discussed, just bring it together in a nice branded, slick platform that we refer to as Optimize. Now, if we go a bit more granular, and I mentioned about the diverse nature of our frontline colleague. So we've all probably come across a cleaner, all different walks of life, different languages, and the thing that we needed to do was do good. And to do good with our products, we needed colleague empowerment. So one of the key things that we had to do is make it accessible for every single one of our frontline colleagues. Doesn't matter which country, be it Jamaica to Poland, they need to be able to use this system. The second bit from our research internally was around financial and wealth management. It is not a secret that in our industry, the majority of our colleagues who give us those diversity statistics that we so champion are actually below the poverty line. So we wanted to use our tools for good to help people schedule their working days and their finances and to literally just know what money they're going to have to be able to put food on the table. It needed to be connected. Now, sounds simple, but not everybody has data. Not everybody is in a Wi-Fi enabled site. So we needed a product which we can actually collect the information and upload when we do get the data or provide them data or they go into connectivity. And the next two, education and well-being, come hand in hand. One of the key things, 87% of our workforce want to advance and learn more. So we wanted our tech to be able to help people progress, to learn more, to be able to do modules and training, because not everybody wants to be a cleaner all their lives. And that links to well-being. If we can get happy colleagues with better careers, then therefore we'll be able to attract more people and work with businesses to do good. And then a little bit like our little game at the start with the 4 images, it was about gamifying it. And we'll come on to this now with a skill stack or a skill scorecard. So my colleague at the back there, we mentioned Black Mirror. So here's an excerpt from part of our IP Optimize. And this, Patricia actually does work for us. So all of a sudden, Patricia, who works in a gym at 2 a.m., can actually now see her rating, her shifts, what money she's earned, and what she'll be doing and progressing and forecasting for the future. The operational management can see where Patricia is on her progress. So the star rating, the skill stack, is actually something that we can champion. We can give the recognition that often goes unseen for many of our colleagues in the front line. But equally, as a twist, and not the same as Black Mirror, If someone was to have 1 star, it's not, oh, let's cast them out. It's about support. There are so many colleagues who don't hear from businesses in our industry. And it's about actually us then going to the front line and using this information for good to help them move forwards. And then from a client side, who's on our site? What languages do they speak? It's all in this one place that can be customised.
So ultimately, the reason we're doing this is to have an impact. Is to have an impact on our people. So let's go right back to the very beginning and let's re-look at Kate. Kate was the head of facilities at the large retail business. And actually now, Optimise has given her a window into her contract performance. She's no longer reliant on monthly information packs. She no longer doubts whether the data is actually accurate. She has meaningful insights at the click of her fingers that she ultimately trusts. Hayden was the operations manager. He's now able to reward and recognise his frontline colleagues because of the insights he has. And his teams are empowered to deliver that first-class solution to Kate. And Patricia's empowered to deliver that first-class service because she's finally been able to say yes to opportunities that she's just simply never had before. She finally feels like her voice is heard. She feels part of our community, and she feels like she's got opportunities to progress. But one of the most important things beyond all of this is that incremental change, that incremental impact that you're going to continue to deliver. So how do you continue to grow while still considering all of the different personas?
So it comes to connecting those dots. So to summarise, an illustration, let's get past the paper-driven usual data inserts and actually get to a point where we're using the tools and the products and the tech that are already out there that our staff and our clients are accustomed to. This helps us as a mantra for our business to make informed and decisions and actions within 15 minutes. That's what we aim for, 15 minutes. It's not always real time, but we want people to be able to make the next decision. And whether that's rejection of a job or actually what are my rights as a colleague or an employee of SBFM, right through to our head office, our support centres, our help desk, so they actually can connect that workspace and give a better opportunity to those on the front line. And then going back to the personas is where the magic happens, because Optimise, we made it so it's fully customisable. Now, what that means is it is the same intuitive nature, it's the same design, but you can look at the information that you want and you can add further aggregators from other suppliers. And then we talked about making the unseen now seen and giving the rating to support them. And that generates better career choices and advancements and helps people get a better pay in our industry. So before Charlotte just wraps up, I think the key thing is, if you're going on the journey that we did, you don't need to be CTO, CSO. You don't need to be the next Google. The clues are out there, the inspiration is out there, and it's about connecting the dots and understanding who you're providing services for.
So I can see the amber light now on, so I'll keep the wrap up quite quick. But we wanted to just end on some considerations, some things for you to take away. And for us, it's about always going back to the beginning, always reminding yourself of the why and that original problem statement. And we believe by doing that, you'll be able to connect your product and what you deliver with what the world needs. And when you're on that journey, don't forget to collect case studies, talk to your people, understand the impact that you're having, and ultimately, just like us, always challenge the status quo and always ask yourself, what's next?
Cool, thank you.
Thank you both, really nice. Yes?
Thank you, that was brilliant, loved the presentation. But I suppose the elephant in the room is it's such a tough gig, isn't it? We know soft services is such a tough gig. The negative impact of the ratings, how is that? How have you dealt with that? And how have you? Because cleaners have a really hard job, but we also know they're really hard. Good cleaners are hard to find. So
the first thing is absolutely goes back to that trust and security piece. That information is personal to that individual and the manager. So what a cleaner in our business can do is see average score ratings. But actually, this is for them. This is their data to see where they are and for their manager. So just like you and I with our line managers, appraisals, performance reviews, but mainly support. The reality is, in your business just like ours, there are a lot of people who don't even know where they stand. In fact, we did a survey the other day, not just to our cleaners, to the industry's cleaners. Just open it up, 718 responses, and the results were they don't see their line managers. Over 80% do not see the line managers. They're out there just doing, because a lot of them are working in the morning. So there's an argument that actually maybe some people don't want to know, and maybe someone reached out to us, and we haven't had that yet, but we could maybe turn it off for them. But the reality is people want to know where they stand and get supported. There is a reason why Matt, the cleaner in Bradford, is on 1 star. It might be that I didn't have the tools for my job, the materials, or the support I needed, or someone just to meet me on my first day. So that's why I talked about Black Mirror. This is not about berating, penalising. It's actually about supporting those people who are unseen.
Maybe I missed it in there because the admin WhatsApp group's been buzzing away. Are you putting this app on people's own phones? Are you providing people with devices?
So we have as a business principle, smart devices we do not provide to every single worker, but actually the majority do have them. Now, if we need them to be able to apply to any of the computer interfaces, it's not just a phone that they need. So on sites where there are a majority of workforce, i.e. in our industry, non-single site workers, will provide an iPad or a smart device to share, which is based on site, so they can actually log in. But they have a unique login, which is based on their email address. So another thing is the turnover of employees in our industry. So we use their email addresses rather than ours. So they will be able to access that information one way or another. Okay. And can I just add, and forgive me for the clients in the room, but a lot of it does come down to clients and the cost pressures of our industry. We'd love to give a device to every single one of our colleagues, but it's not always possible.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the, forgive me, some of the bigger people in the industry, you're talking tens of thousands of people, and many of them out there.
This is a 7-part question. I'm joking. I'll let you get off. It's a quick one. You've already just touched on it there. So it's obviously a highly commoditised sector, and we know that turnover in cleaners is huge, and people move down the road for 10p more an hour. How long has the app been running, and kind of the empowerment for fictional Patricia? Have you started to see a drop in attrition so far?
So yes. So the app's been running 11 months. Patricia's real. She's not fictional. That is Patricia.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry,
that's all right.
Patricia.
You're not to know. And she's aware that she's in this presentation. The reality is these are things that we have to monitor, but we do monitor monthly in our board meeting. Attrition has dropped, but it's high. And I don't believe for a second, and I've been in other organisations in the sector, that they use a true attrition figures. And I know that it's high, because you're right, 10p or more. So this 10p more, let me go, because it's better for me and my family. However, this now focuses on how do we get the salary increases for those who deserve it, those people who are working hard and don't even get that remuneration discussion. So what we have seen is we've been able to reward the best performers and support the lowers. And that, if you're thinking, if you want to go to the next level, and there's been a lot of gig economy chat and Uberization, all of a sudden, with the rating, we now know where Patricia lives, postcode, we know rating, or experiencing different property types. Why can't Patricia be prime for the next opportunity that SBFM brings to the business, where she does get that better pay rate? And guess what? She'll tell her colleagues or friends, come and join SBFM, because they'll support you more on your career journey.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt and Charlotte. Thank you.